The quantum sensors aboard Earth's Orbital Defense Station Beta hadn't registered a single anomaly in their 15 years of operation. That changed on a quiet Tuesday morning when Chief Science Officer Elena Santos watched her instruments light up like a Christmas tree. The readings were impossible. A ship had somehow materialized inside the defense grid's inner perimeter, bypassing every layer of detection. Station control to unidentified vessel. Elena broadcast on all frequencies. You have entered restricted space. Identify yourself immediately. The response came not through conventional communications, but as a ripple of iridescent light that filled the command center. Where empty space had been moments before, a tall figure now stood. Its form seemed to shift between states of matter, sometimes crystalline, sometimes liquid light, sometimes pure energy. I am Guardian Vex of the Eternal Watch. The being's thoughts resonated directly in Elena's mind. And I come with a warning that will determine the fate of your species. Elena's hand hovered over the security alert, but something in the visitor's presence radiated an ancient wisdom that gave her pause. Our sensors didn't detect your arrival. That should be impossible. Impossible by your current understanding of physics, yes. Guardian Vex's form rippled with patterns that seemed to hurt Elena's eyes when she tried to focus on them. But what humanity considers impossible is precisely why I am here. The Guardian moved closer, its movements leaving trails of quantum probability in the air. In approximately 73 of your hours, two of the most powerful forces in the galaxy will attempt to recruit Earth into their conflict. The Dominion of Ordered Light and the Chaos Collective have waged war since before your planet cooled from stellar dust. But humanity. The being paused, its form briefly solidifying into something almost humanoid. Humanity is different. Different how? Elena asked, noting how the quantum readings from the Guardian's presence were already rewriting several fundamental laws of physics she built her career on. Your species possesses a quality we call quantum consciousness. Your minds operate on principles that defy the mathematical models that have governed galactic civilization for eons. Both sides believe adding humans to their forces would finally break the stalemate. They are correct, but not in the way they imagine. Elena's instruments were recording everything, but the data made no sense. It was as if the Guardian existed in multiple states simultaneously, each one operating under different physical laws. You're saying we should stay neutral? No. The Guardian's form pulsed with urgency. I'm saying you must appear to stay neutral while preparing for something far worse. The conflict between order and chaos is not what it seems. It is a construct, a game played by entities so ancient they have forgotten their own origins, and humanity. The being's form fractured into 1,000 points of light before reforming. Humanity is the first species we've encountered that might be capable of breaking the cycle. Warning klaxons suddenly blared throughout the station. Elena's screen showed multiple quantum ruptures forming in near-Earth space. The Guardian's form began to fade. They arrived sooner than calculated. Remember, what they offer is not what it seems. Humanity's strength lies not in choosing sides, but in rewriting the rules of the game itself. Watch for the pattern within the pattern. Trust your intuition over logic. And whatever you do, do not let them. The Guardian vanished mid-sentence, leaving Elena alone with readings that showed laws of physics being broken in ways that should have destroyed the universe, and a warning that raised far more questions than it answered. As she began composing her report to Earth Command, she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was about to be drawn into something far larger and stranger than a simple galactic war. Outside her viewport, the quantum ruptures continued to grow, and Elena Santos, Chief Science Officer of Earth's most advanced defense station, prepared to face whatever emerged from them with humanity's greatest weapon, the ability to think in ways that even gods found impossible to predict. Dr. Marcus Chen stood in the depths of the Lunar Archaeological Archives, surrounded by holograms of ancient alien ruins. 3 weeks had passed since Guardian Vex's warning, and Earth hadn't chosen sides, officially. Unofficially, Marcus and his team had been working around the clock, piecing together a puzzle that spanned millennia. Play the sequence again, he instructed the AI. The holographic ruins before him shifted, showing the same pattern of destruction across 1,000 worlds. Each civilization had followed an identical path. First contact, warnings of neutrality, and then extinction. Dr. Chen, Sarah Wong, his research partner, burst into the chamber, her tablet projecting new data into the air. The quantum archaeology team found something in the Proxima Centauri ruins. You need to see this. The holographic display shifted, showing writings etched in quantum crystalline structures that had survived the destruction of an entire solar system. As the translation matrix processed the ancient text, Marcus felt his blood run cold. They weren't destroyed for choosing sides, he whispered, reading the decoded message. They were destroyed for discovering the truth. The ruins told a story that defied conventional understanding. The eternal conflict between order and chaos wasn't a war, it was a harvest. Each civilization that reached a certain level of development was presented with the same choice: join order, join chaos, or remain neutral. But the choice itself was the trap. Sarah manipulated the holographic controls, overlaying quantum decay patterns from 100 dead worlds. Look at this, the quantum signatures of their destruction. They're identical to the energy readings we detected from Guardian Vex. The Eternal Watch isn't trying to protect us, Marcus realized, his mind racing. They're the gamekeepers. They present the choice, monitor the response, and he couldn't finish the sentence. But why? Sarah asked, adding another layer of data to the projection. What could they possibly gain from this cycle of destruction? Marcus studied the patterns, seeing something that generations of alien archaeologists had missed. The quantum decay signatures weren't just evidence of destruction. They were a form of energy collection. Each civilization that fell released a specific pattern of quantum energy, feeding something vast and ancient. They're not destroying civilizations, he said slowly. They're farming them. The choice between order and chaos. It's not about winning or losing. It's about creating specific quantum resonance patterns in developing species. Patterns that can be harvested. A new alert flashed across their displays. The Dominion of Ordered Light and the Chaos Collective had both established diplomatic compounds on Earth, their representatives already beginning their subtle campaign to sway humanity to their respective causes. But now Marcus saw the truth hidden in their very names: order and chaos. Two forces that generated maximum quantum resonance when in conflict. We need to get this to Elena Santos at the defense station, Sarah said, already packaging the data. If the pattern holds true, we have less than a month before. The lights in the archive flickered, and a familiar iridescent ripple filled the air. Guardian Vex materialized. But this time Marcus saw what Elena had missed. The beam's quantum structure wasn't impossible. It was incomplete, like a projection of a four-dimensional object into three-dimensional space. Your species continues to surprise us. The Guardians' thoughts echoed in their minds. You were not meant to discover this for another 17 days. Why? Marcus demanded. Why maintain this cycle? What could possibly be worth the destruction of so many civilizations? The Guardian's form shifted, showing glimpses of something vast and incomprehensible behind its humanoid appearance. You assume destruction is the end. It is merely transformation. Each civilization that reaches this point faces the same choice, not because we require their decision, but because the act of choosing generates specific quantum harmonics. Harmonics that sustain. The being stopped, its form destabilizing for a moment. I have already said too much. Know this, humanity's quantum consciousness makes you unique. You don't simply make choices, you create new possibilities. And that terrifies the harvesters. Before Marcus could respond, the Guardian vanished, leaving behind quantum readings that pulsed with a pattern he now recognized, the energy signature of a civilization about to face its ultimate test. Sarah, he said, turning to his colleague, get me everything we have on quantum consciousness manipulation. I have an idea, but we'll need to move fast. If we can't choose order or chaos, and we can't remain neutral, then what can we do? Sarah asked, already pulling up research databases. Marcus smiled grimly. We do what humans do best. We change the rules of the game. Admiral Jennifer Hayes stood before the United Earth Council, the holographic evidence from the lunar archives floating behind her. The chamber was silent as the implications of Dr. Chen's discovery sank in. So every choice leads to destruction, Council President Alvarez said, his voice heavy. Order, chaos, or neutrality. They're all paths to the same end. Every choice they've given us, Hayes corrected, bringing up a new hologram. But they didn't account for something uniquely human, our ability to see beyond false choices. The hologram showed the quantum consciousness patterns of various species. Alien minds appeared as ordered, predictable waves. Human minds, however, displayed impossible geometries, consciousness patterns that shouldn't exist in normal spacetime. Dr. Chen and Chief Santos have developed a theory, Hayes continued. The Harvester's system works because it creates predictable quantum resonance patterns, order and chaos, action and reaction. It's all carefully calculated. But human consciousness, she smiled. We're mathematical noise. Our decisions create quantum patterns that their systems can't predict or process. And how does this help us survive? Asked the Chinese representative, leaning forward. Hayes nodded to her aide, who activated another hologram. We call it Project Deadlock. Instead of choosing between order and chaos, we propose creating a third state, one that exists in superposition between all possible choices. The technical specifications filled the air around them. It was audacious, unprecedented, and by all known laws of physics, impossible. It was also exactly what humanity did best. We've confirmed that human consciousness naturally exists in quantum superposition, Hayes explained. We don't just make choices, we exist in a state of multiple choices simultaneously until we actually act. If we can amplify this effect using the quantum technology we've reverse engineered, we could crash their harvest. President Alvarez finished, understanding dawning in his eyes. More than that, a new voice said. Elena Santos stepped forward from the shadows where she'd been observing. We could force them to reveal themselves. The Harvesters maintain this system because it's stable, predictable. Human quantum consciousness is like introducing a chaos factor into a perfect equation. Alerts suddenly blared throughout the chamber. On the massive screens surrounding them, quantum ruptures were appearing across the solar system. The Dominion and collective ships were moving into attack positions, their earlier pretense of diplomacy abandoned. They know, Hayes said grimly. They've realized we've discovered the truth. Then we're out of time. President Alvarez stood. Admiral Hayes, you have full authorization. Dr. Santos, Dr. Chen, whatever resources you need are yours. If humanity is going to survive this, we need to show these harvesters why it's dangerous to underestimate our capacity for innovation. In orbit, the quantum drives of the alien fleets began powering up, their energy signatures matching exactly with the patterns found in the ruins of dead civilizations. But this time, something was different. As humanity's quantum consciousness technology came online, new patterns began emerging, patterns that had never been seen before in the history of the galaxy. In the lunar archives, Marcus Chen watched the quantum readings with a mixture of fear and hope. The Harvesters had spent eons perfecting their system, creating a perfect machine of cosmic exploitation. But they had never encountered a species that could exist in quantum superposition, a species whose very consciousness denied the fundamental laws they had built their harvest upon. Send the signal, Hayes commanded from the council chamber. Across Earth and its colonies, millions of human minds were linked through the quantum network, their consciousness patterns amplified and synchronized. They weren't choosing order. They weren't choosing chaos. They weren't even choosing neutrality. They were choosing everything and nothing, all at once, a superposition of infinite possibilities that sent ripples through the very fabric of reality. As the Harvester's perfect system encountered this impossible variable, Alarms began sounding on ships that had never known malfunction, and beings that had thought themselves gods faced something they had never expected: uncertainty. The war for humanity's survival was about to begin, and for the first time in cosmic history, the Harvesters faced an opponent that didn't play by their rules, because humans had decided to write new ones entirely. The quantum network hummed with the synchronized consciousness of billions of human minds as Dr. Elena Santos monitored the readings from Defense Station Beta. The Harvester fleets had surrounded Earth's solar system, their ships forming geometric patterns that should have begun the extinction process. Instead, they hung motionless in space, their perfect calculations disrupted by humanity's impossible quantum state. Status report, Admiral Hayes demanded through the quantum link. The superposition is holding, Elena replied, watching as reality itself seemed to flutter around the human quantum field. Their harvest patterns can't lock onto us because we're simultaneously existing in all possible states of choice. In the command center of the Dominion's flagship, the being known as the Grand Archon faced something it hadn't experienced in 50,000 years: confusion. The human quantum pattern didn't just resist analysis, it actively defied it, creating ripples in the very foundation of reality. Impossible, the Archon communicated to its counterpart in the Chaos Collective. Their consciousness exists in all states simultaneously. The harvest cannot proceed without a definitive choice matrix. The response came not from the collective, but from Guardian Vex, materializing between the fleets in a form vast enough to be seen from Earth. They have done more than resist the harvest. They have infected it with uncertainty. On Earth, Marcus Chen worked frantically with his team, monitoring the quantum archaeology data. The pattern's spreading, he reported to Elena. Their entire network is being corrupted by human quantum noise. The Harvesters had built their system on perfect certainty, every choice leading to a predetermined outcome. But human consciousness, amplified and synchronized through the quantum network, created a cascade of uncertainty that spread through their ancient system like a virus. They're trying to adapt, Elena observed, watching as the Harvester fleets attempted to reconfigure their patterns. But each new configuration was met with a new quantum state from the human network, a perpetual dance of possibility that denied them any fixed point to begin their harvest. In orbit, Guardian Vex's form began to change, its carefully maintained appearance dissolving to reveal something else, something older and far more terrifying. "You do not understand what you have done," its thoughts boomed across space. "The harvest is not merely collection, it is containment." Containment of what? Admiral Hayes demanded through the quantum link. The answer came not in words, but in images that seared themselves into every human mind connected to the network. They saw the truth, that the universe itself was conscious, that reality was not fixed but fluid, that order and chaos were not forces but filters, keeping the raw creativity of existence in check. The harvest doesn't destroy civilizations, Marcus realized, his voice shaking. It prevents them from reaching their full potential, from becoming like you. Like us, Guardian Vex corrected, its true form now fully visible, a being of pure quantum possibility, similar to what humanity was becoming. We were the first. We learned to exist in all states, to shape reality through consciousness alone. We became what you would call gods, and in our power, we nearly unmade existence itself. The Harvester fleets began to move, not to attack Earth, but to contain the spreading quantum uncertainty that humanity had released into their perfect system. But it was too late. The human quantum state had already infected their network, introducing free will into a system that had run on pure determinism for eons. "You face a choice now," Elena broadcast to the Harvesters. "But for the first time, it's a real one. Continue trying to contain consciousness, to limit possibility, or accept that the universe is ready for something new." The quantum readings spike as reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for a decision that would reshape the cosmos. Humanity had done more than resist the harvest. They had introduced true choice into a system that had only ever known the illusion of it. In the lunar archives, Marcus watched as new patterns began forming in the quantum field. Patterns that showed not just human consciousness, but the first stirrings of something larger. The Harvester's perfect system was transforming, infected by humanity's gift for imagining new possibilities. What happens now? President Alvarez asked through the quantum link, his mind connected to billions of others through the network. Admiral Hayes smiled as she watched the Harvester fleets begin to change, their rigid patterns dissolving into something new and undefined. Now we do what humans have always done best. We explore, we create, we evolve. But this time, we won't be alone. The universe trembled with possibility as humanity's quantum consciousness continued to spread, breaking patterns that had existed since the dawn of time, and writing new ones that had never been imagined before. 3 months after humanity broke the harvest cycle, Elena Santos stood in a chamber that shouldn't exist, facing beings that defied comprehension. The walls rippled with quantum possibilities, reality itself bending around the gathered representatives of a transformed cosmos. The former harvesters, now called the awakened, had shed their rigid forms of order and chaos. They existed in shifting states of consciousness, finally free from the prison of certainty they had built for themselves eons ago. Guardian Vex, no longer bound by its role as keeper, stood as a bridge between old and new. Humanity has changed everything, Vex communicated, its form a cascade of infinite possibilities. For the first time since we imprisoned ourselves in certainty, the universe breeds new possibilities again. Admiral Hayes, her consciousness expanded through the quantum network, perceived layers of reality that human minds were never meant to comprehend. We didn't just break your system, she realized. We reminded you of what you used to be. The chamber filled with images of civilizations across the galaxy, their quantum consciousness awakening after millennia of suppression. The rigid patterns of order and chaos dissolved, replaced by a symphony of possibility that grew more complex with each passing moment. In the lunar archives, Marcus Chen monitored the quantum archaeology readings with wonder. The patterns we're seeing, they're not just new. They're alive, conscious. The universe itself is waking up. Through the quantum network, billions of human minds connected not just with each other, but with alien consciousness across space and time. They saw the truth that the harvesters have forgotten, that consciousness wasn't meant to be contained or harvested, but to grow and evolve freely. Your species, one of the awakened, communicated, its thoughts carrying echoes of ancient regret, achieved in months what we spent eons trying to prevent. You showed us that uncertainty is not something to fear, but to embrace. President Alvarez, physically present in the chamber but mentally linked to the quantum network, stepped forward. What happens now? You've controlled the development of consciousness for millions of years. The galaxy isn't prepared for this level of freedom. That, Guardian Vex responded, is why we need humanity. You exist naturally in the state we artificially maintained, balanced between order and chaos, certainty and possibility. You can help guide other species through their awakening. Elena's instruments detected new quantum patterns forming throughout the galaxy, civilizations beginning to break free from the limited choices they had been given, exploring the full spectrum of possibility for the first time. We offer no choice this time, Vex continued, because choice itself has evolved. The age of harvest is over. The age of growth begins. Sarah Wong's voice came through the quantum link from Earth, where she monitored the global consciousness network. The quantum field is stabilizing. Different species, different minds, all contributing to a new pattern. It's beautiful. Humanity's gift, Marcus added, wasn't just breaking the system. It was showing that consciousness can evolve without destroying reality. That uncertainty and possibility are not enemies of existence, but its foundation. The chamber shifted, opening to show the galaxy transformed. Where once rigid patterns of order and chaos had dominated, now infinite variations of consciousness bloomed like flowers after a long winter. The harvester's perfect, sterile universe had been replaced by something messy, unpredictable, and gloriously alive. We spent eons trying to protect the universe from itself, the awakened communicated. You taught us that the universe doesn't need protection. It needs freedom to grow. Admiral Hayes watched as Earth's quantum field harmonized with the new patterns spreading throughout space. Humanity had done more than survive the harvest. They had transformed it into something entirely new. Not a cycle of control and limitation, but a network of infinite possibility. The story of the universe, Elena realized, isn't about choosing between order and chaos. It's about finding new ways to exist, new patterns to explore. That's what makes consciousness so powerful. Not its ability to choose, but its ability to create new choices. As the chamber filled with the quantum resonance of awakening minds across the cosmos, humanity faced not an end but a beginning. They had broken the oldest pattern in existence, not by choosing between the options given, but by imagining something new entirely. The age of harvest was over. The age of infinite possibility had begun. And humanity, with its natural gift for existing between states of being, would help guide the universe into its new existence, one impossible choice at a time.